Well, so Henry Kissinger, who, if you don't know how bad he is, he was the former Secretary of State. He has been involved in the democratic overthrow of Chile and hundreds of thousands killed, famously illegally bombing Cambodia. But his larger crimes are State Department Memorandum 200, which said cut off people's food so they starve to death all over the world, arm rebels to destabilize stable governments, to sow discord, to reduce human population. Serious wars against humanity. Not a war to say we've been attacked, we're defending ourselves. That's a righteous war, a legitimate war. Not even a preemptive war to conquer someone and, kill their military, but just conquer them because you want to control that area. That's an immoral war, but nothing compared to we're going to take over an area and we're going to use wars and we're going to use famine and all this stuff to kill the general public. That is a crime against humanity. And he got confronted, the article's up on Infowars.com, Kissinger confronted as mass murderer by Luke Rudkowski, who's going to pop in at the start of the next hour. One of my proteges. I'm very proud of the work he does with his team. It's first-rate, an example to all reporters. We've got great reporters, but I think they're an example to us and myself as well. The great job they do. So we're going to be airing that in a moment. But first, here is Kissinger, U.S. and China to collaborate on globalist world order. And he was speaking to the Asia Society on how to build a world order, that means globalism, for the first time in history on a global basis. So a global order based on global basis, global government. And he talks about doing that with China. Not the Chinese people, but with the incredibly oppressive Chinese government. Who, by the way, again, they get to ship in hardwoods out of Madagascar to the U.S. And they're allowed to do it, but U.S. companies go and get it from other legal, lawful, certified areas like Gibson, and they're shut down for months on end and persecuted because they're an American company and they're conservative. Again, this is a managed economy we're looking at. So let's go ahead and go to that Kissinger clip.
As has already been pointed out, we had a common adversary. But as time has evolved, we are now facing a common challenge. And the challenge is how to build a world order for the first time in history on a global basis. We talk a lot about world community, but the fact is there has never been a world community before. The various regions conducted foreign policy and their affairs in substantial isolation from each other.
That's right.
Or else, one region, primarily Europe, dominated the rest of the world. This is the first time that different cultures are interacting on a permanent basis to establish a peaceful and growing international system.
All right, let's stop there. Again, they always sell globalism as a great thing. This is where the authoritarians of the world gang up to leverage out other free or wealthy areas. See, in the old days, even if a government was somewhat corrupt, they would want wealth so they could skim more off the top. And they would want the country to be wealthy because that made the public acquiesce to their centralized control, which, again, they skimmed off the top. This is the opposite. Globalism is a form of hyper-feudalism or mercantilism where it's a managed economy where they want control where only they can operate and where they use that centralized control to leverage out all their competition towards an aim of making the population poor, towards the aim of making them more manageable, towards the aim of having them accept social engineering, State Department Memorandum 200, or the Royal Commission on Population 1949, which is the plan of this whole program worldwide. You'll never hear the liberals, who are really authoritarian nightmare demons, you'll never hear them saying, hey, we shouldn't have Foxconn with suicide nets for Apple. Apple, shouldn't be the most bloodthirsty, hardcore corporation, paying Chinese workers 30 cents an hour. And their children en masse are chained up in warehouses or on light poles outside, lucky if they get one meal a day. How are we going to compete with that? That's not going to build China up, and that's not a living wage for them, where you create an economy. They don't want you wealthy. Mexico can't even compete with China now. India can't compete with China. It is a race to the bottom, as Ross Perot famously described on CNN. I have clips of this in my film, Fall the Republic, where we explain they're not just going to kill the dollar as the world reserve currencies. They're killing all the currencies, hyperinflating them, but depressing the real economy at the same time so that the hyperinflation doesn't really show itself very fast. Because the real economy is constricting worldwide. So even if you have hyperinflation, that hot money is only given to insiders. And so you only see the real inflation in luxury items or in real estate or things like that. And so it is a managed, computerized, technocratic economy. Look at this article right here out of CNBC. Is the dollar dying? Why the U.S. currency is in danger. And if you go to drudgereport.com, above that, or below that, it has a article about the rise of the new order. For years now, the collapse of the dollar has been in the cards. Recent developments showing mounting pressure on the dollar reserve currency status with a major international deflation going on. The threat of inflation through money printing is unreal. However, should the dollar's reserve currency status end, the repatriation of trillions of petro and euro dollars could lead to a strongly inflationary scenario. And that's from the site Real Currencies. Absolutely on target with that statement. There is world depression going on while they hyperinflate away the giant derivatives debts, which are not ours, they're the globalists. They use that derivative wall to buy up control of the world. With the dollar as the reserve currency, the U.S. had to export dollars. In the early years after the war, especially for Europe, the famous euro dollars, this sounds great. Print money and buy whatever you like. But with gold window, it was also risky. Overprinting could mean excess dollars would be exchanged back into gold, depleting U.S. reserves. So what do? They just naked short gold so that gold prices don't actually go up for what they should via global dollar inflation, but then people won't sell their gold even when they artificially deflate it. So in the real world, gold's actually where it always was, up. It's just all fraud within fraud. And I'm kind of digress into all this. The point is that it's a rigged system. And when we come back from break, I'm going to play this confrontation with Henry Kissinger via Luke Rudkowski. He's given the award, and then Luke, well, I'll describe it when we come back from break. But it gives me a headache. I mean, just all of this really does give me a giant screaming headache because it's so obvious. All of this is like a sick joke, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder and more absurdist, where they get away with more and more and more. And there's some good signs where people are beating smart meters all over the U.S. that are spying on them and radiating them. And folks are, marching against Monsanto, and the media blacks it out. But that only discredits the mainstream media that much more. And citizen journalists are confronting people, and a lot of folks are waking up. And the scandals are coming out. But still, it's kind of like too little too late in a way, because you've kind of got a paradox where there's these dumbed-down yuppies everywhere who think not caring is cool and who don't even know what Memorial Day is, who buy into the whole system. And then you've got those of us that are informed and work hard. And then you've got the welfare mass. Some of them know the system's corrupt, but they're either disabled or can't find a job, deindustrialization. A lot of them, actually you can't even blame them. You've got the illegals brought in to drive down the wages. You can't even blame them. But still, it is, I mean, the elite thinks they're going to steal all the wealth and just live in armored fortresses. But then, clearly, they're not disciplined enough to stay segregated away from all of us. It's all a bunch of people lying to themselves. It's a decadent culture is what it is.
Hi, Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources. With over 30 years of experience in the precious metals business, I can tell you without a doubt, we are facing the most dangerous and volatile times, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Peace of mind is gold and silver. Now is the time to invest in gold. When it comes to bullion coins, our prices are competitive and the closest to melt. If it's numismatics you're looking for, we have some of the best deals out there. Visit MidasResources.com today or go to Infowars.com and click on the link to see our daily specials. Here's an example of one of our long-term specials we've been offering for more than a year. 2 silver dollars from the turn of the last century, plus 2 powerful films, The Obama Deception and The American Dream. We also add in the book Dishonest Money, all for $72 and free shipping. The most trusted name in precious metals is Midas Resources. Call 1-800-686-2237 or go to Infowars.com. I'm Ted Anderson with Midas Resources.
We are now only entering the edge of a global financial superstorm, the likes of which the planet has never seen. Here in the United States, the private Federal Reserve is giving more than $85 billion of taxpayer money a month to themselves and other offshore foreign banks. And the worst part is, we have to pay the bank's interest on the money we give them. There is now a race between the global central bank mafia cartels to see who can devalue their country's currencies the fastest. We are already seeing big increases in inflation at the grocery store and the gas line. This will eventually lead to hyperinflation. More than a dozen top globalists like George Soros have been buying record amounts of gold while at the same time bad-mouthing it to the public. Don't just listen to what they say. Watch what they do. For more than 6,000 years of recorded human history, gold has been the ultimate hedge against uncertain times and inflation. Before investing in metals, it is important to do your own research and find a reputable company. Midas Resources has the highest Better Business Bureau rating of an A+. Unfortunately, very few precious metal companies can boast that. Midas Resources has assembled one of the most educated, researched, and professional teams of brokers in the industry. The evidence is overwhelming. In uncertain times, gold and silver is safe harbor. Now is the time to invest in gold. Call 800-686-2237 and Midas Resources will mail you 10 reasons to own gold absolutely free. No shipping. It's absolutely free. And finally, Ted Anderson wants to challenge you to find any deal that comes close to his 2 silver dollars at cost with free shipping with 2 free films and a book for $72. That's more than $160 value for $72 shipping included. Click the link at Infowars.com to go to the MidasResources.com specials page. Brought to you by MidasResources.com and Ted Anderson, the trusted name in precious metals. Okay, so the video, if you want to see it, is even more powerful. It's up on Infowars.com. Kissinger, who's openly calling for the U.S. and China to collaborate on a globalist authoritarian world order, was confronted just a few days ago by our own Luke Rudkowski that is going to be popping in at the start of the next hour. And you've just got to love how he's being given this award by General Petraeus, the guy that brags, yeah, the CIA watches you via your appliances. And then he gives him a Freedom Award. So I will narrate some of this video for radio listeners. But again, the full video is up on Infowars.com. Kissinger confronted as a mass murderer. Here it is.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum, I am deeply honored to present the 2013 Intrepid Award to my friend and my hero, the Honorable Henry A. Kissinger.
Totally disgusting. They're in tuxedos. He gets off on the crowd. He loves it. This is video of Luke in the bathroom putting on his glasses that have a camera in them and getting ready to go in. Yeah, I've seen police with those glasses now. We need that type right there. He comes over to Kissinger at his table, leans over him and says this.
Hi, Mr. Kissinger. It's a pleasure. How you doing? I just wanted to know, what do you mean when you said illegal we do immediately, unconstitutional takes a little longer, the WikiLeaks document? What do you mean by that?
Come on.
No. I mean, it came out, WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I mean, there's another stuff on it, isn't it?
Do you know the agenda of the Bilderberg?
What? What are you doing this for?
I'm here covering this event. Just wanted to talk to you. We Are Change. And we want to know maybe what the agenda of the Bilderberg group meeting is going to be in a couple days. Do you know?
Get lost, please.
Get lost.
How does it feel winning
Get lost.
How does it feel winning the Freedom Award when you're wanted as a mass murderer and wanted in many countries and butchered millions of people? How does it feel? You know it's a lie.
You self-serving coward, get lost.
I'm not a coward. You know this Freedom Award's a lie, and you're wanted for mass murder in different countries. You know it's a lie.
And so, ladies and gentlemen,
All
on
right.
behalf of the board...
And then there's even more footage of him out at the dinner coming out, and they're confronting him. Coward, coward, you're a coward. The opposite, of obviously, of a coward, going and confronting him, calling him self-serving. He called him a coward and said, you're self-serving. When Kissinger blueprinted the one-child policy in China, blueprinted shutting down our industry to transfer it to their industries, with Kissinger and Maurice Strong controlling them in China, making up bajillions. And he just sits there, this pathetic... seeing the video, he gets up there to be given the award, and it's always these globalist spiders hugging on each other and grasping at each other and giving each other awards for what they've done. And the arrogant Henry Kissinger, high-ranking globalist operative, complicit in mass murder in Latin America, bombing civilians in North Vietnam, terror bombing of Cambodia, overthrowing of democratically elected government in Chile, and then setting China up to deindustrialize the United States. But his biggest crime, ladies and gentlemen, is programs to start wars against conservative governments, communist governments, liberal governments, any government. If it wasn't wrecking the society, in his memorandum, you can read it, it's declassified in 1992, it's from 1973, he says to destabilize these countries, destabilize everything so they can come in and take over. And they're running the same program, it's called Agenda 21, against us here in this republic. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.